Hello everyone. So we are going to start the next part of the convection. It is simply, the topic is simple. That is the change in the fluids during the time of the heat transfer. So you should know that how the changes of fluid during the process of heat transfer, right? So although it's a simple line, that is the changes of the fluid during the process of heat transfer. So what are the process which is going to take place in the fluid during the time of transfer of heat? So let's discuss in details today. So as per the theory, you should know that the fluid, when they carry the heat, any fluid which when it will carry the heat, it is generally get transition in its stage. So we know that, suppose if we consider a vessel like this, if it have some water, now if we start heating this vessel containing the water, slowly and slowly the water, it will start evaporating, right? So at what point it is going to evaporate? The point at which is known as the boiling point. So first, the concept of boiling point, it is simple. The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the fluid, it is equal to that of the atmospheric pressure. It is the boiling point of the fluid. Now the thing is that in pharmaceutical unit operation, there are different types of experiment which we used to conduct. So these experiments actually used, or these type of things are actually used. Suppose if we generate the heat, this heat can be used to move the blades, of the turbine, right? Sometimes this heated fluid can be also used to heat some other fluid or other substance in the unit operation. So this heat needs to be maintained well balanced. This heat to be maintained well balanced in the pharmaceutical operation, right? So the next part is that, now let us consider what actually happens. What actually happens? Okay, now let's see what actually happens. So suppose if we consider this is a pipe, let us consider this is a pipe through which the fluid it is moving, right? Now this fluid, maybe suppose it is at a higher temperature, right? This fluid it is at a higher temperature. Now these fluids at a higher temperature, it is surrounded by some cold water. This may be a condition, or simply we remove all these things, simply we are allowing this heated water to pass through and to get condensed. So what will happen if this water, it will condense on a surface? So there are basically two type of condensation which we can find. Number one, it is the film condensation. This vapor or this stream, the steam of the vapor, they may settle at the last point where the heat is less. They may settle and they can simply form a film. This is known as film type of condensation, right? This is the film type of condensation. This is one type of condensation. Moreover, sometimes they can also form drop-like or drop-wise condensation. In the drop-wise condensation, what will happen? Simply outside the vessel, if they leave, they will simply form the drops. Right? Now, if this is a horizontal, if this is in a horizontal position, it will remain as it is. But if the pipe, it is in a vertical position, suppose this is the pipe, if it is in a vertical position, this drop will cover the whole length and it will fall here or it will reach here. Clear? So why we have discussed all these things? These are the very basic things, right? But from here only we are going into the depth, right? So now if the condensed liquid, it doesn't wet the surface, what will happen now? If the condensed, suppose if the condensed liquid, if it doesn't wet the surface, what will happen? It will simply drop off. It will simply drop off. Did you ever notice that suppose this is a pipe or simple anything, if I apply oil or grease over this surface and if I allow water to retain over it, whether the water will remain there? No, it will not. Simply the vapor also after condensation, if the surface is smooth enough, it will fall off in the form of water droplets. Clear? So this is the next concept. So now let us consider a situation. What can be happen? Suppose there is a vessel. Suppose there is a vessel, right? Through this vessel, there is a pipe which is moving on. Now this vessel, it contains cold liquid, right? And this pipe, it is having, or the hot liquid, it is passing through it. So what will happen? This is the first consequences, right? The next consequences will be like simple. You see here this part only. Now here what will happen? This is the pipe. This region will get slightly heated. This region will get slightly heated. And the remaining water, they are cold. These waters are cold, right? Right? Again, if we come to this from here, after some time, what will happen? Again, the water it is flowing, right? The water it is flowing, or you can simply feel like we have elevated the temperature. This portion, it will get bigger, right? After some time, it will get more bigger. After some time, it will get detached. It will form the bubble, and it will get escape from this vessel, right? So this is the concept how the bubbles it forms. So here you should learn one thing, the delta T. So what is the delta T here? It is the temperature difference. The delta T, in this case, it is the tube wall temperature. This is the temperature. Tube wall temperature minus delta T, it is a tube wall temperature minus saturated temperature of liquid, minus saturated temperature of liquid. Which liquid? This liquid. So this delta T will consider now, this delta T will decide now how the bubbles will form. So let us see how this delta T will decide. So there are some conditions. So as per these conditions, so let us see if delta T, number one condition, if delta T it is very small, it is very small, suppose delta T is very small, then the rate of heat transfer is not much. So what is the rate of heat transfer? We know that Q by A, it is not very much. If delta T is very small, then the rate of heat transfer is negligible. Clear? Number two, now if delta T it is increased, it is now increased. If the delta T is increased, the rate of heat transfer will be also increased, right? So here Q by A, it will also keep on increasing, right? The third condition is that if the delta T is increased further, if we have increased the delta T to more temperature, to a more high or to a more higher temperature, then the surface temperature increases continuously to a point where the heat transfer coefficient reaches the maximum. So the heat transfer coefficient, it will reaches the maximum. So you can write it. So I have just left the board so that you can write it if you want. Now the last condition. Beyond that, okay, let me tell you what is critical temperature. So this temperature is known as critical temperature. So what temperature? The surface temperature increases continuously up to a point where the heat transfer coefficient reaches maximum. The temperature at which the heat transfer coefficient it become maximum, this temperature it is known as critical temperature. The temperature at which the heat transfer coefficient it reaches the maximum value, it is known as the critical temperature. And the last condition, number 4. And the number 4, beyond the critical temperature, what will happen? Beyond the critical temperature, suppose this delta T has go to such a height, now it has crossed beyond the critical temperature. At this stage, the rate of heat transfer, it will get less or it will get slow. Means till it reaches the critical temperature, the heat transfer will go high. But once it has reached the critical temperature, maximum heat transfer is taking. Afterwards, the heat transfer process it will go slow in this way. Is it clear now? So now let's consider a case where the heat exchange can take place. So generally the heat exchange it takes place in two types. One it is the parallel heat exchange, another one is the counter heat exchange. So let us first see the parallel. How? You ignore this part till the time you understand what is this. Suppose there is a vessel. Here there are two pipes connected. One pipe is carrying the hot fluid, another one is carrying the cold fluid in the parallel direction. Now, what will be the transfer rate of heat from the hot fluid to the cold fluid? So generally, the transfer of heat from the hot fluid to the cold fluid can be depicted in this graph form. So here there is a graph, simple graph. It is the temperature in the y-axis and the distance in the x-axis. So what we have found, we can find in this type of experiment. Initially, the T1 it is the temperature of the hot fluid. T1 it is the temperature of the hot fluid, initial temperature of the hot fluid. T2 it is the final temperature of the hot fluid. Whereas T1 it is the initial temperature of the cold fluid, and T2 it is the final temperature of the cold fluid after gaining the heat from the hot fluid. So what will happen initially? You see the distance. T1 is at a very high temperature, right? But initially when you have started immediate exchange or transfer of the heat takes place, so it immediately have a big gap, right? So it immediately goes down. It has reaches to this temperature T2, and the cold water, it will immediately reach a higher temperature, that is the T2 here, small T2. This difference in the temperature between these two means the lower temperature of the hot fluid and the higher temperature of the cold fluid, it is depicted as delta T2. I repeat, the difference in the temperature of the lower temperature, that is the minimum temperature of the hot fluid, that is T2, and the higher temperature of the cold fluid or maximum temperature of the cold fluid, that is small T2, it is depicted as delta small T2. And the difference between the initial higher temperature of the hot fluid, that is your T1, and the initial lower temperature of the cold fluid, it is depicted as delta T1. In this way, you see the proper mixing of the heat or transfer of the heat, it generally takes place. So in this case, the heat transfer in parallel fluid, the heat transfer in this parallel fluid, it can be depicted simply by a equation, that is heat transfer equal to dq is equal to, here dq, it is equal to u full stop u dot a dot dt. Now what is this? Sorry, this dt you can also write delta t. You can write delta t. So dq it is the heat, right? Transfer of heat. So here u, it is the overall coefficient. The u here, it is the overall coefficient throughout the length. U, it is considered as the overall coefficient throughout the length. It is constant, right? And A, it is the area, right? Now this equation can be also modified. This equation can be also written as, you see here, Q after integration. This can be written as Q, right? Q U dot small a. I'll tell you what is small a. Small a dot L. L, it is the length. Small a dot L multiplied by delta T2, sorry, delta T1 minus delta T2, delta T1 minus delta T2 divided by natural logarithm ln delta T1 divided by delta T2. So this is the derivation where L, it is the length of the pipe. This L, it is the length of the pipe. Here you can write L, it is the length. I have left the whiteboard space so that you can write if you want to write. It is the length of the pipe, or the exchange length of the pipe, and A, it is the area of the pipe, the small a, area of the pipe. Here it is the area of the pipe. So this can be now also written, this equation can be now also written in the form of average. So how you can write the average? Simple, you can simply write delta Tm, mean temperature difference, is equal to delta T1 minus delta T2 divided by ln, which we have already written, ln delta T1 divided by delta T2. So this is the overall derivation for explaining the change or transfer of heat, and the logarithmic mean temperature, that is the delta Tm, logarithmic mean temperature delta Tm can be used here. The total heating surface is A. The total heating surface is capital A. So heat transfer equation in the parallel heat exchanger, it is nothing but simply in the parallel heat exchanger, where I have shown you parallel heat exchanger. In a parallel heat exchanger, the heat transfer equation can be simply written as Q is equal to U dot A dot delta T. Now what we have derived? It's the delta Tm. So delta Tm we have already derived. So this is the heat exchange process in a parallel way or parallel connect. So the next, it is the counter current heat transfer. Earlier was parallel heat transfer. Now it is the counter current heat transfer. Before going into the chart, let's see what is a counter current. What I have told you earlier, two pipes are in the parallel direction. Now these two pipes will be in the opposite direction. So let's suppose this is a pipe, done. This is a vessel. So from this side hot fluid is coming. From this side hot fluid will come, and from this side the cold fluid will come. Now these two fluid will get mixed. So here in the counter current of heat transfer, what we have found, the initial difference it is less because they are mixing in the opposite direction. So initial temperature difference it is less. T1 it is the temperature of the hot fluid, right? It has come down to T2, and T1, small T1, it is the temperature of the cold fluid, which has also come down to this. So why it happens? Because it happens in a opposite direction. So it will get heated, no doubt it will get heated, but the temperature it is quite low as compared to the earlier one. So here in this concept you should learn one thing, that the average in this process we will consider the average. So average delta T, that is the average temperature difference, average delta T AV. AV means average. So average delta T AV can be written as, here in this process, delta T1 plus delta T2 divided by simply 2. Done. So this is the average transfer of heat in this process. So the heat transfer equation for counter current heat can be simply written as, for counter current it can be simply written as Q is equal to U dot A dot, earlier it was delta T M mean, right? But here now it is delta T AV. So this is the average temperature exchange. Here the next concept, it is the radiation. It is the radiation. So what do we mean by radiation? Simply we all know that radiation, it is the transfer of heat using the space, right? So the sun rays, they are carrying the heat, right? Even the radiation, a heated body, suppose if we hold a hot iron, red heat iron, if we hold it with something, right? Suppose we have kept a red heat iron here, and if we keep our hand to this portion also, our hand started burning. We feel the heat. Why? It is due to the radiation. So simply the concept is that radiation, it is the process of heat transfer where the space is involved, right? So heat transfer, it is also known as the thermal radiation. I repeat, the heat transfer, it is also known as the thermal radiation. So here we are going to have the concept of heat radiation emitters, heat radiation absorbers. So what are those? So let's start the concept. So various form of heat emitters are there, but the fundamental concept is that the thermal radiation, it obeys the same law as that of the light. So as per the thermal radiation, simply you should learn one thing, alpha plus rho plus tau, it is always equal to 1. Now what is this? The alpha, it stands for the absorptivity, right? The alpha, it stands for the absorptivity, right? The rho, it stands for the reflectivity, and lastly the tau, it stands for the transmittivity. So what is this actually? So whenever we allow the light to fall over a surface or over a body, any type of body, whenever we allow a light to fall on a body, at that instant of falling the light, three consequences or three processes can simultaneously happen. One, it is the absorptivity. Suppose the object has absorbed up the light, right? The next one, it is the reflectivity. Suppose this board, I hope you people can see through this camera, that most of the light, as it is white in color, most of the light it is reflected, so you cannot easily detect the words. That's why I am using the black coloring, right? But if it was a black color board, you can see it much easily. Why? Because the light is completely absorbed. So the black color, the dark color, they absorb the light, right? Whereas the light color, they reflect the light. It is not like that. Moreover, there are some other points also. You should remember one thing, that smooth surface, they reflect the light, whereas the rough surface, they absorb the light, right? So this is the reflectivity, and next one, it is the transmittivity. So what is transmittivity? Transmittivity means after absorption of the light, if the object has the capacity to transmit the light, that is the transmittivity. So as per the equation, it is always absorptivity plus reflectivity plus transmittivity, sorry, it is always equals to unity. So this is the simple law of reflection. Done? Clear? So now the next concept, which is the black body. So what is the black body? What is black body? Simply, a black body, it is not always necessary that it should have a black color. As per the law of physics, a black body is a body which has the capacity to absorb all the lights falling on it. I repeat, a black body is a body which has the ability to absorb all the light falling on it. It don't allow the light to escape from it. So this is a black body. But ideally, in this universe, no such body is present. So that's why the concept of the grey body has also come. The grey body is also used, but the ideal black body are those body which don't allow the light to, the light to get reflected, or it don't allow the radiation to get emitted. So ideal black body, it is considered, or it is made simply via carbon tube. C14 tube you can take one carbon tube. If we heat this inner portion of the carbon tube, and if we block this area, if we see through this tube, then we will see the conditions of the ideal black body. So now the rate of radiation, it depends. The rate of radiation, it depends. So generally the hot body, it emits radiation, we know that, right? And it follows the rule of Stefan-Boltzmann. So as per the Stefan-Boltzmann equation, the rate of radiation, that is the amount of the heat, it is always equal to Q is equal to B dot. I will tell you what is B dot A dot T to the power 4. So what is Q? It is the energy radiated per second. I write it here. Q, it is the energy radiated per second, right? A, it is the area of the radiating surface. A, it is the area of the radiating surface, right? Next, the T, it is the absolute temperature of the body, absolute temperature, and B, it is the constant. It is the constant here. So this is the simple Stefan-Boltzmann law. It is the Stefan-Boltzmann law for the black body radiation. Clear? Okay, now again for black body radiation, it is considered the value of B is equal to, for black body radiation, the value of B is equal to 5.67 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 8. Done. So as per this equation, if we change this equation get modified to Q is equal to epsilon. Q is equal to epsilon. Now we have removed the B, small b. Q is equal to epsilon dot B will be there, right? dot A dot T to the power 4. Now what is this epsilon? It is simply, epsilon is here simply, it is the emissivity. Emissivity. So what do you mean by emissivity? Emissivity is simply the energy emitted by the actual body and the energy emitted by the black body. Epsilon, it is equal to energy emitted. Energy emitted means reflected by, again I am writing energy emitted by, simply energy emitted by the actual body, the body which you are considering as a black body, actual body, and the energy emitted by the black body. So epsilon is the emissivity. In this equation for black body, in the Stefan-Boltzmann law, we can enter the Q is equal to epsilon B dot A dot 2 to the power 4. Clear? Next concept is the gray body. So gray body is nothing but it's simply as, because all bodies are not purely black body, we can consider a gray body. Gray body can be defined as a body whose absorptivity is constant at all wavelength. Simply I am telling you, gray body can be defined as a body. I repeat, gray body can be defined as a body whose absorptivity, that is the alpha, value of the alpha, whose absorptivity, alpha it is like that. Yes? Absorptivity, it is constant. Gray body have a constant absorptivity at all wavelength. Upon changing the wavelength of the light also, the amount of the absorptivity will be same. And the equation for the heat transfer of gray body can be written as Q is equal to simply BA bracket T1 to the power 4 minus T2 to the power 4. So what is here T1 and T2? So T1 here, it is the hot black body. Gray body, it is generally arranged in this way. This is a gray body, this is a black body. The black body, it is at a higher temperature, it is kept within the gray body. This is the bigger one, it is the gray body. So if this is the temperature is T1, it is the temperature of the black body, and T2 is the temperature of the gray body or the outside. So this is the relationship. So I hope this part is clear now. So next we are going to discuss some of the equipments which are used in the process of heat exchange for the pharmaceutical unit operation.